This evening, first, a 300 million game changer for Ghana's economy. How the Freedom Hoop shore base is set to transform oil and gas industry to create countless opportunities. Plus, a poultry vendor in Berbice faces manslaughter charges in a robbery gone wrong. Why the defense is arguing self-defense and what's next in the case. Also, streamlining taxes has never been easier. The Ghana Revenue Authority's new app promises to save time and cut hassle for taxpayers, and a single mother's dream comes true. Hear how President Ali's Men on a Mission initiative changed one family's life forever. Finally, Colombia narrowly avoids a trade war with the US, what the agreement means for deportation policies and global trade. Stay tuned, these stories and more are coming up next on Headline News Updates. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for January 27, 2025. I am Berbice. Thank you for joining us. First up, the Freedom Hoop Shore Base Incorporated, FRESHI, a major $300 million facility on the Demerara River, was officially opened on Sunday, January 26. The state-of-the-art project, located on Ghana's first artificial island, is a local and international collaboration. Speaking at the opening, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali emphasized the shore base is not just an infrastructure project, but a critical foundation for developing Ghana's maritime industry and positioning the country as a key player in regional energy markets.
This is not just about the shore base today. I'll be very disappointed if we look at this and say, oh, this is a shore base. This is that one additional asset that allows us to build one of the best marine industry and marine sector in the region. This is that one additional asset that positions us to build a transport and logistics hub and link that is key and critical and brings a new opportunity with it.
President Ali added that the shore base would help build a transport and logistics hub that supports Ghana's growing oil and gas industry. The shore base will offer services such as installing subsea equipment, storing emergency response gear, and creating important infrastructure. It will also help ExxonMobil's operation in the region. The president also highlighted that the project is part of Ghana's long-term strategy to grow its economy.
If you look at this facility today, we're not just celebrating the completion of a physical infrastructure. We're celebrating the hard work of the more than 400 men and women who worked on this site during construction. We're celebrating the more than 250 persons in the initial phase that will work here permanently. 250 families that will find sustainable jobs here. We're celebrating the policies and the initiative that would have enabled us as a country to bring back more than 80% of the semi-technical and low-level technical jobs that were held outside of our country here in Guyana. More than 80% of those value creation jobs are now held in country because of policies, because of boldness in approach, because of a clear vision, and because of confidence of the private sector.
The Freedom Hoop Shore Base is a key part of the larger port for Freedom Hoop development and is expected to bring significant economic growth and job opportunities to the region. We now turn our attention to the ancient county where a story out of Berbice has captured widespread public attention. A poultry vendor from Quarantine, initially charged with murder, is now facing a reduced charge of manslaughter. To break down the case and its latest development, here's Dale Jarvis with more details.
Ciendra Maramutu, a 43-year-old poultry vendor from Portuguese Quarters Quarantine, is now facing a manslaughter charge in connection with the fatal wounding of 18-year-old Perman Pertab during an alleged robbery at Port Morant Market, Berbice. Initially charged with murder in November 2024, the charge was reduced to manslaughter following consultations with the Director of Public Prosecutions. Marimutu appeared before the Wim Magistrates Court on January 20th, where Magistrate Tuana Hardy granted him bail of 600,000 Guyana dollars. His next court appearance is set for February 17th. The incident occurred on October 26, 2024. Portab, armed with a cutlass, injured the vendor's assistant, while the accomplice, armed with a gun, fired shots wounding a bystander. Patrons intervened, disarmed Portab, and recovered the stolen jewelry. During the confrontation, Portab sustained multiple injuries and later died at the hospital. A post-mortem confirmed his death resulted from numerous wounds and hemorrhagic shock. Maramoto's defense attorney argues that self-defense and the protection of property may apply in the case. The incident and subsequent legal proceedings have garnered significant public attention. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jervis.
Thanks, Dale. The Ghana Revenue Authority has launched a new app called Partner to make registering online easier for new taxpayers and businesses. Using the app, users can register for a taxpayer identification number, TIN number, get tax reminders, and receive digital copies of their documents. The app also includes a tool to help calculate vehicle taxes. The app is designed to save time and make the registration process more user-friendly. After filling out the registration details and submitting documents, users will get a case number and must visit a GRA office to confirm their identity. Once everything is processed, they will receive an email about whether their application was approved and can collect their TIN certificate in person. Partner is part of GRA's effort to offer more online services, joining other tools like Optimal for filing taxes and License Revenue Processing System for driver's license registration. The app is available for download on the Google Play Store or Apple Store. Stick around when we return. Single mother receives a new home through Melanimation Initiative, and police bust marijuana in ownerless home. Criminal mastermind nowhere to be found.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
See clearly with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common Smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. We now bring you a heartwarming story of hope and transformation as a single mother becomes the latest recipient of a new home under the Melanimation Initiative. For more on this inspiring development, we go to our reporter Dale Jarvis, who has the details.
Amina Elliott, a 27-year-old single mother from Enterprise East Coast Demerara, received the keys to her new home on Saturday, January 25, 2025, as part of President Dr. Mohammed Irfan's Ali Men on Mission initiative. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony highlighting that this undertaking forms part of the government's ongoing efforts to provide necessary interventions to the vulnerable population.
This is something that pays a lot of attention to, because he would like ordinary people to benefit from whatever the government is doing. And we know that one of the challenges sometimes that people would raise with us is the challenge of not having their own home. Sometimes people have to rent, and when they have to rent, it's a challenge for them. And now, being a homeowner would make a significant difference. The Ministry of Housing over the last couple of years would have given out thousands of house lots. And that's very significant. As they give people house lots, people's lives are starting to change.
Elliot, a mother of two, said she was overwhelmed with emotion when she was informed that she has been selected to receive the home. She added when she applied and requested some assistance from Men on Mission, she did not expect them to reach out so quickly. She expressed her gratitude for the new home, reflecting on the hardships she faced as a single parent.
At one point in time, I moved 7 times in 1 year, just to find somewhere that is comfortable, affordable, you know. So it was very hard. Nobody wants to be a single mother and having to find for 2 children, everything on your own. But, you know, I'm here and I'm thankful.
Elliot, who is a student at the Cyril Potter College of Education, added that the home will allow her to give her children a better Christmas and a brighter future. She thanked the Men on a Mission for constructing the house for her family, making a new and exciting beginning for them.
Having a house from Men on Mission, it's very nice. I'm very thankful for it. It's exciting. I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to pay mortgage and repay loans in any form. This is mine, you know, and I can provide a home for my boys. For my boys, they were very excited. They were 100% excited, and they were like, "Mommy, I'm proud of you, and so forth." But this is the achievement, this is the accomplishment.
Minister Anthony also encouraged Amina Elliott to become a role model in her community by assisting and inspiring those experiencing similar hardships. The Men on Mission initiative aims to provide housing for vulnerable individuals and families. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony emphasized that this effort is part of the government's broader mission to improve the lives of ordinary citizens, with a focus on housing, education, and infrastructure. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jervis.
Thanks, Dale. Police discovered close to 6 pounds of marijuana in Sophia during search operations on Saturday, January 25th. According to the police report, officers from Regional Division 4A conducted multiple cordon and search operations across several locations around Georgetown, including South Sophia, Campbellville, Newtown Kitty, Allboystown, Stabrook Market, Leopold Street, and Border Market. During the operation in South Sophia, officers found a cream plastic bucket containing leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be cannabis inside an unoccupied wooden structure at the squatting dam. The marijuana, weighing over 2,700 grams, was transported to the Alberton Police Station for processing. The narcotics were photographed, weighed, and secured. No arrests were made in connection with that discovery. Don't go away after the break. UN chief calls for Rwanda forces to leave DRC as rebels press offensive. And TNT Coast Guard loses mystery boat.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Current smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In the Caribbean, the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard lost a deteriorating boat containing 5 decomposed bodies during a recovery operation near Mairo. The vessel discovered near the Cassia platform slipped from a tow line and is presumed sunk. Comparisons were drawn to a similar 2021 incident involving African migrants. National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines expressed sympathy while the Coast Guard continued efforts to understand the tragedy. Meanwhile, in South America, Colombia avoided a trade war with the U.S. by agreeing to President Donald Trump's terms, including accepting deporting migrants on military planes. The agreement followed U.S. threats of steep tariffs, visa sanctions, and customs inspections after Colombia initially blocked deportation flights. Colombian Foreign Minister Luis Morello confirmed the resumption of flights, while the White House emphasized America's sovereignty. The resolution ended a tense standoff that risked economic fallout, including higher coffee prices. Internationally, United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has called on Rwandan forces to withdraw from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and halt support for M23 fighters advancing on the key city of Goma in the country's east. At an emergency UN Secretary Council meeting later on Sunday, the DRC demanded sanctions against Rwanda, saying its forces had crossed into its territory in what amounted to a declaration of war. Al Jazeera's Gabriel Alonso reports.
The United Nations top official in the Democratic Republic of the Congo said M23 rebels, backed by Rwandan troops, have penetrated the outskirts of Goma.
Roads are blocked and the airport can no longer be used for evacuation or humanitarian efforts. M23 has declared the airspace over Goma closed. In other words, we are trapped.
UN peacekeepers from a stabilization force known as MONUSCO are under attack. Several have been killed and injured while helping the Congolese army fend off M23 advance in northern Kivu province. Civilians are caught in the crossfire.
In North and South Kivu, hundreds of civilians have been killed and injured in the last few weeks.
Congo's foreign minister said the Rwandan military's participation in attacks on Goma is an act of war and called on the council to act decisively.
This Security Council must impose targeted sanctions, including asset freeze and travel ban, not only against identified members of the chain of command of the RDF, but also against the political decision-makers responsible for this aggression.
Rwanda's ambassador did not admit its troops were fighting alongside the M23, but also didn't deny it.
The current crisis could have been averted had the DRC government demonstrated a genuine commitment to peace.
After the meeting, I asked Congo's foreign minister if she was disappointed the Security Council has failed to halt the fighting.
And for the past 3 years, the Security Council has failed the Congolese people. It has not acted, it has not held the people accountable who are directly linked to the chain of commands linking the RDF and the M23, chain of commands that lead all the way back to Kigali.
There's disagreement on the Security Council on what to do next. The French are pushing hard for a council statement calling for the M23 and Rwandan forces to stand down. But several members of the council don't want to specifically name Rwanda in fear of agitating Kigali and thus making the process to peace that much harder. Gabriel Zondo, Al Jazeera at the United Nations in New York.
Finally, votes are being counted in Belarus election, and incumbent President Alexander Lukashenko is expected to win his 7th term in office. This is the first poll since 2020, when claims of vote rigging triggered mass protests and crackdowns on political dissent. Al Jazeera's Bernard Smith reports.
Alexander Lukashenko already knows what the result of the Belarusian presidential election will be. 5 more years in power for this former Soviet farm boss who's already been in charge for 30. In a lengthy press conference after voting, a combative Lukashenko called Belarus a brutal democracy and dismissed the protests of 2020 that almost toppled him.
If 5 years ago we saw that we had a certain number of crazy people, and you know it's not the majority that always turns a country upside down, but a wild minority. But today it's over. Belarus is different. They have been metaphorically vaccinated. They know where to go and they understand. Yes, we have parasites and those who don't want to work, but they are a terrible minority.
Lukashenko's security forces crushed the months-long protests in the summer of 2020. Tens of thousands of people were arrested. Opposition leaders were either jailed or exiled. Today, the only protest possible is outside the country. In the Polish capital, Warsaw, hundreds march with Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, who the US and EU believe was the actual winner of elections in 2020.
What is happening now in Belarus is a farce. This is not an election, but a special electoral operation to keep Lukashenko in power.
The 4 other candidates on the ballot this year have not mounted any serious challenge, some even supporting the incumbent. Lukashenko wants carefully balanced relations between the EU and Russia, but since 2020 he's become more politically and economically reliant on Moscow. The biggest challenge ahead for Alexander Lukashenko could be what happens to Belarus if there's an end to the war between Russia and Ukraine. Currently sanctioned by Europe, the president might seek to benefit from any peace dividend. The freeing of some 200 political prisoners might be the start of an attempt to try and improve relations with the West. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera, Minsk.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it to B2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.